This is an episode of Charity Speaks.
Welcome to another episode of Charity Speaks.
This is Charity Speaks.
Welcome to Charity Speaks.
Welcome back to Charity Speaks.
Welcome everyone to Charity Speaks.
G'day guys, it's Shingy. I have the pleasure of spending the afternoon with Kevin Harrington. We're going to do a very quick round of questions because we have the entrepreneur. And I have a bunch of questions that I need to get to. If I read his resume, it is going to read like the encyclopedia, A to Z and back to front. I'm not going to do it. Look him up. It's very easy to find him. I'm going to get right into it. He doesn't need an introduction, so I'm not going to waste that time. Kevin, hi. Welcome to you.
Thanks, David.
See what I'm doing? I'm actually inventing a language while I'm here. This is Charity Speaks, and it's questions about really the entrepreneur space, which is clearly you wear the crown on. So let's get to it. Since Shark Tank and since writing award-winning books, et cetera, you've gone on to continue that continued path with a series of different brands. And the first question for me is, firstly, let's talk about entrepreneur. Is it a DNA? Is it taught? Is it just a type? Tell me what it does for somebody like you to be so spectacularly successful, please.
So, well, I appreciate that. Thank you. It's great to be here, by the way. And so I'll say this. I think entrepreneurship can definitely be learned. And now I also believe that there are some entrepreneurs that have a DNA that is assisting them. And I'm one of them because my father, when I was 11 years old, he was mentoring me on starting my own business eventually, right? And when I was 15, I was ready to go. And so he was an entrepreneur, restaurateur, etc. But I took people that had tried to get through college, they couldn't, they dropped out of college and they couldn't get a job. And I showed them the world of entrepreneurship and boom, they were crushing it. And still to this day, and I'm going back as many as 40 years ago when I first started working with people in the entrepreneurial space. So there's colleges now. I mean, if you go to, I speak at Babson College almost every single year now, and it's one of the most entrepreneurial colleges in America. They're spitting out amazing entrepreneurs that are ready to go. And so I believe that some of us have it inside of us when we're born. It still needs to be unpacked because even me, I was shy and I was afraid and I had to go out and knock on doors. But once I pushed through that and got, and this was part of, again, my father's coaching to me. He's like, don't be bashful. You got to go out and do it. Right. And I then taught people how to do that also. So, in today's world, I'm taking people that are in a corporate environment for 20 years, 25 years, 30 years, showing them how they can write books, start podcasting, building their brand, speaking on stages, shooting TV shows, doing publicity. And all of a sudden, within 12 months, they are entrepreneurs on fire. So
God bless you, brother.
Okay.
It's interesting when you aged yourself by saying 40 years ago, back then the landscape for media was a bit different than it is today. So back then it's spots and dots and doing time and materials and doing that type of media that we're known for.
Yes.
It's all shifted. And one of those big shifts, particularly in the last 18 months, which has been coming, but the spotlight came real sharp on that, which was brand purpose and care. So how important at the heart of a brand is purpose and point of view to the success of a brand today?
Oh, yeah. Great question, David. I mean, I've done a little research over the years on this. And I know, for example, like when you take a look at the Gen Z generation, 69% of them they'll stay away from brands that don't have a social impact. All right. Because in today's world, it's a little different. In fact, the way of advertising has changed. I think we may get into that, but so has the way people want to receive that advertising, right? I mean, I'll say, this, when you think about some of the brands out there like Ben and Jerry's and Tom's and some of these cause-related companies, they make the world a better place. And so people want to do business with those kinds of companies. So because people will avoid brands that don't have that social impact. And I know it myself personally, but I know it from the research that I've done. And also I think that, most Americans want to buy from companies really that kind of reflect good values when you think about it, right? So it's cause related activity is very powerful.
Okay, so let me just expand on that just a moment. So you talked about Ben & Jerry's beloved brand, but has always been there for a long time doing what they care about. But it was kind of not frowned upon. It was a bit of a head tilt. It's like, really? You bunch of hippie dippies, this is the way you guys are going to roll? What's up with that? And it's taken them a long time to get where they are, and they've laughed in the face of it, which is, hey, we believed in this since day one, so be us. Are you able to accelerate the growth of a brand through cause and empathy, let's say?
Yes.
Particularly in the new platforms of which you're able to amplify your brand in and grow at the same time authentically. Now, there's a lot of buzzwords in that whole statement.
Yeah.
I believe there's truth in that meander, and I just wonder whether you agree with that.
Absolutely. I mean, let's put it this way. Like, for example, we deal with a lot of nonprofits, and I've been involved in that world, helping nonprofits market themselves, et cetera. And when somebody is in it making charitable donations, right? They're locked in. They're drinking the tea, as we say, right? Well, they're also going to be the first ones to tell their neighbors and their friends and their business associates about that also. So it's they in effect almost become like an influencer in the world of advertising. I know we're going to be touching on some of this, but yes, people like to share their passion with others. And I know myself, when I get invited to go, would you like to take a table at a big event? Well, if I'm going to get a table, it's going to take 10 people. Yes, let's get people that are thinking the same way that I do, right? So yeah, I do believe that people they really have a conscious attitude about where they spend their money and the brands that they want to do business with.
And frankly, that's refreshing, because if you look at it, your history arcs back to a lot of sort of as seen on television. I mean, I haven't watched a TV in 20 years. I haven't owned one. When I moved to America, I thought it was going to melt my brain. So I completely pushed against it. Coming from Australia, we have three TV channels. And so what was interesting from my perspective is that, you are continuing to celebrate brand growth. Tell me about the shift and change in advertising, and where have you seen it? And can you cite one of the brands that you've perhaps accelerated in this?
Yes, absolutely. So, I got involved in the world of selling and marketing on television back in the early 80s. And I was watching TV one day. I just ordered cable television. And back then, your cable package was only 30 channels. But we went from 5 channels to 30 channels. Okay. So now, but today it's hundreds of channels. But so I'm going through all 30 channels, and I get to the last one. It's Discovery Channel, and the screen. It just has these colored bars. And so I called the cable company. I'm like, hey, there's nothing on here. And they said, because I said I'm getting 29 channels, amazing, sports and ESPN and MTV, music and all this. They said, you tuned in when Discovery is off air. It's only an 18-hour-a-day channel because they don't have a budget for 24 hours. So that's when the light bulb went off. I said, I'll buy that time, which I did. I went to Discovery nationwide, signed a multi-year contract, and I was programming 6 hours a day on Discovery Channel, we were doing tens of millions of dollars in business on that 6-hour block. Now, let's fast forward. This was, these were products. We're doing Sunbeam, we're doing juicers, and we're doing blenders, and we're doing choppers, and we're partnering with the Regal Cookware Company and all, again, the Sunbeams of the world, regular TV advertising. Of course, we're using infomercials, direct response, a little bit of a punch up on it. Sure. But what's happened now is, hey, it's pretty simple. 60% of the people that used to watch television don't even subscribe to cable anymore. Okay. They've cut the cord. So, here I was, I owned AsSeenOnTV.com, As Seen on TV Inc., hundreds of As Seen on TV websites. 8 years ago, I said, there's a shift. People are on YouTube. They're on Facebook. They're on Instagram. They're on LinkedIn. They're spending hours a day there, less time on TV. I sold all my assets and moved in a new direction. And what I wanted to do as I moved in this new direction was create these ways to connect direct with the consumer. So I'm going to give you a great example of a product that is up against some of the biggest competitors in the world in the energy drink business. When you think energy, you think Red Bull, Monster, right? The Coke, Pepsi, these big guys are out there, with brands. And so they're spending huge budgets on television, which is mainstream advertising, right? I got involved 8 years ago with a company called Celsius. Let me turn it around so you can see it. This is an energy drink that is clinically proven to, can you see it okay there?
Oh yeah, totally. Beach vibe.
Yeah. So it's clinically proven to actually burn. You drink 1 can of Celsius, it'll burn 140 calories in your body. Now, so what happened is we started getting major traction in the gyms, in the health stores, at the vitamin shops and all these places. People started consuming it, but we then incentivized them to share the message through Instagram and through all the different channels out there. So now, fast forward, 18 months ago, we were the number 9 energy drink out in the market on Amazon, for example. Red Bull, Monster ahead of us. What we did shifted the model away from expensive television to using Instagram influencers and using the internet, using Pandora radio, all the things that weren't available to me when I was a younger entrepreneur in the world of As Seen on TV. But this product went from a couple $1 million in business, in sales, when I joined, to over $5 billion in value recently. The stock is a public company, from 22 cents to $72. And so this was achieved by using new techniques, influencers, social media, micro influencers, and some celebs also. So anyway, I love when you can take a product. And by the way, this company went from number 9 on Amazon to number 2 ahead of Red Bull. Tell me how do you do that? Red Bull spending tens of millions of dollars on television. We have $0 on TV, but we're using the new forms and ways to connect with people out there. Like I said, and not just Instagram, but this TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, etc. You name it, we do it. And so it's an exciting change.
Kevin, I want to finish with Celsius, but I want to ask you from the way that I look at brands being built. And there are 3 parts to that. One is story. So how incredible is the Celsius story? And I'm sure we won't get into that now, but I'll look it up and I'm sure it's a delicious story.
Well, the burning of the calories is a big part of that story. So
and let's put that into the bucket of performance. So there are 2 of them. So we've got story, we've got performance. And the one that most people forget about or don't spend enough time and energy on, frankly, it's ironic we're going to talk about an energy drink byproduct, is this, feel. So I look at the design of that can. It looks modern. It feels fabulous. It's got a vibe in the name, so it's definitely vibey. Yeah. What's the feel of, the brand itself has a great feel to it. Was it like that out of the gate, or did you reborn that brand at some point in time? So just give me a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's great question, boy. I love talking with you, David, because you know what's going on out there. The packaging. If I showed you some of the original looks of it, way different and way wrong. Okay, but because we had these clinical studies that showed, and 7 of them that showed that it burned your calories. So it had more of a clinical look. Okay, that's not a mass market look. So once we realized you got to this has to be very appealing. It's got to like you said, you got to connect with the customer. It's got to feel good. People want to be involved in things that are exciting and new and look vibrant and all of that. And I think I don't have the other packaging to show you, but if I showed you before and after, I think you'd be blown away.
Kevin Harrington, I think you probably own the domain then asseenondigital.com. You must, because the way you pivoted from TV to everything else is incredible. But thank you for spending some time with us today at Charity Speaks. Dude, we could speak for a long time, and I wish we had a chance to, but I know you need to get onto your next energy. So I appreciate you.
Great being with you, David.
You're awesome.
Take care.